Curselings. I'm back with yet another update from this mad mama, who I gotta say has left me feeling a little speechless, dumbfounded even, and the psychic damage that I take every time I watch one of her TikToks is really starting to feel like a stacking debuff. Like, I can feel my mental fortitude just bleeding out every time I watch one of these frickin' updates. Just, oh my god. And to be honest, Veronica's latest two TikToks really aren't worth watching, in my opinion, as she's still has yet to come out with the full story, preferring instead to just repeat the same points over and over and over and over, with a few new details sprinkled in like the world's most disappointing funfetti cake. But we do now have a source for the lead contamination in her house. It's the paint. Specifically, the paint on the windows and doors. Things that Veronica apparently replaced back when they first bought the house. So, who knows? I mean, she didn't even bother to say where in the house there was lead in the actual update video. That was buried in her comments, as per frickin' usual. As for how it poisoned her 2-year-old, Veronica says that he was just peeling the paint. He liked to pick at it, I guess. Given that he's not currently in her care, something tells me that Veronica probably knew about the paint picking before the health department did their inspection, which just begs so many more questions than I imagine we'll ever get answers to. At least not anytime soon. Now, Veronica insists that her toddler wasn't eating the paint chips, he was just touching them. So I ran straight to Dr. Google, because if he got lead poisoning from touching the paint, surely this means that the other kids would also get it from touching the windows and doors too, right? And yeah, no, not so much. While yes, dermal absorption is a possible way to get lead poisoning according to the CDC, it's actually not that common in the USA to, quote, encounter lead that readily enters the human body through the skin, end quote. So what's more likely to have happened is that he touched the lead paint and then put his little hands into his mouth, as the most common way for children to get lead poisoning is by way of ingestion. So sure, maybe he wasn't eating the paint chips like Veronica says, but he's still more than likely ingested it through cross-contamination, a lot, to have blood levels of 3.5 micrograms or more, which is the state maximum allowable amount. And just to help you visualize what that even means, this is what a deciliter, or 100 milliliters of blood would look like. It's less than half a cup. 1.25 milliliters is the equivalent to about a quarter of a teaspoon. Half of that is 1/8 of a teaspoon, and on a syringe like the kind you would use to give your little ones Tylenol, for example, one of these notches is the equivalent of 0.01 milliliters. So 3.5 micrograms of lead per deciliter would be less than half of one of those notches per roughly half a cup of blood. That's a lot. I think that's a lot. That's too much, in my opinion. And that's the low end of the spectrum, because we don't actually know how much lead was in his system, let alone how long he's been exposed to it for. In fact, young children actually have a higher rate of lead absorption than adults, which is why states like New York screen for it in kids up to age 6. Mandatory until age 2, but they'll keep doing it until 6 if they need to. And according to this publication by the Government of Canada, my government, young children have a 40 to 53% absorption rate of lead that was ingested from food, compared to just 10% in adults, and a 30% absorption rate of lead found in soil and dust that was absorbed by the gastrointestinal system. So all those little lead particles on his little fingers and under his fingernails from picking all that paint, when he sticks his little fingers in his mouth, yeah, that's how it's getting into his blood. In other words, up to 50% of whatever her toddler ingested remained in his body. Yikes! Now, because of the paint issue in her house, Veronica cannot get her 4 youngest children back until she resolves it.
The only reason the other little kids are not home already is because Modi tested positive for lead. The health department came out to my house and determined where all the lead was. And CPS was like, we want to help you, but we can't send the kids home, the babies home, if there's still lead.
Which Veronica says will cost her a whopping $10,000. Oof.
And maybe we can help you with the funding to get it taken care of professionally. So they looked into it, and it will cost $10,000 to have it taken care of professionally. I don't have $10,000, so that's why the babies aren't home yet.
Oh, and if you're wondering, she did not bother to explain why it would cost that much either. It's $10,000. Anyway, because Veronica does not have $10,000 on hand, she says that she will be posting a lot more to TikTok to get that sweet, sweet revenue.
So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do about that. I'm probably going to have to start posting more videos so that I can actually make more money. So that's the only solution I can even see right now. So if you see me posting videos like crazy the next few weeks, please be supportive, like, share, comment, watch, whatever you got to do. It's really, really appreciated so we can get the babies home.
Now, what I find interesting about this plan of action is that Veronica really hasn't been posting much this year at all, especially prior to her hospitalization for whatever reason. Even lamenting in this article from the end of May that she could barely afford groceries with the $1,400 of food stamps that she gets each month. Yet now, after 6 months of minimal posting, we're gonna go back to full-time content creation. It's just odd. Like, why wasn't she posting more before her hospitalization if money was already tight? Where was the urgency then? It just doesn't make sense to me. Whatever the case, a lot of people were also confused and even put off by this $10,000 quote. But when asked why she couldn't just fix it herself with something like a lead encapsulating paint, for example, Veronica said this: "I'm still very weak. I physically can't. I'd have to hire someone." A sentiment that she would repeat in a follow-up TikTok when people also wondered why she didn't just go and get a job if money was an issue, instead of relying on the volatility of social media revenue.
Okay, so I was in a coma just a few weeks ago, and I almost passed away from liver failure. Like, my muscles are still very weak. I'm still very tired. I don't even have enough blood in my body. My doctor said it's going to take a few months for me to even be healthy enough to get the hysterectomy that I'm supposed to have. I can't just go get a job and make a bunch of money. Social media pays way more than just getting a job. So yes, I said I'm going to post videos instead of going out and getting a job that I can't physically do.
Also, if Veronica's too sick to stand without getting dizzy, let alone work, how the hell was she going to take care of her 4 youngest kids had she actually gotten them back? Oh, that's right. The parentified teens, of course. Oh, God. The constant excuses are really starting to get exhausting. Just really exhausting. Now, in this same follow-up TikTok, Veronica will also confirm that Dee's birth certificate application has been mailed off and that she's just waiting for it to process or whatever.
As far as I know, I'm just waiting for Donnie's birth certificate now. Like, everything should be in. It just takes a couple of months for everything to process.
So the only barrier left now seems to be this lead issue, which, frankly, Veronica doesn't seem to be that bothered about.
I'm trying to figure out how I can get it taken care of well enough that the babies can come home. So that's the only delay right now.
She's really taking this news very well. Suspiciously too well, maybe. Goodness knows, I know I would be a nervous wreck if I found out that my child had lead poisoning and I could have prevented it, but, that's just me. Veronica also claims that she can see her 4 youngest kids whenever she wants without supervision, etc., etc., etc.
I'm still able to visit with them. I don't need supervised visits because it's a voluntary placement. I'm allowed to know where they are. So yeah, it's not like a normal situation where someone's kids get taken away. It was like they thought I was dying, and the only reason they don't send the kids home right now is because of the babies and the lead poisoning issue.
which she even demonstrated with this post of her kids on the side of the road somewhere on her Instagram earlier the same day. In her comments, she also promised to give more information about her toddler and the lead poisoning, etc. today, but has yet to post anything to TikTok at the time of this recording. Finally, I want to talk about this post on Veronica's Instagram, where she posted screenshots from someone named Sandra who had sent her a message request on Instagram, who wrote alarmingly, "I finally found your address. Can't wait to come and set you on fire. Your family is so disgusting. Your daughter is a slut. And you're autistic and gross. Please stop reproducing. Please. Your cancer baby is your punishment and he will die soon. Can't wait. Ha 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 ha. And your daughter's ugly cancer baby too. Hope they have terrible deaths and all get made fun of till they kill each other." What the fuck? No, seriously, what the fuck? This is out of fucking bounds. I don't give a shit if you like Veronica or you hate her. This is fucked up. No one should be wishing harm, let alone death, onto fucking children. I also want to make it very fucking clear that I do not support or condone this kind of shit, period. Nor do I want anyone who thinks sending fucked up little messages like this to people in my community. You're not fucking welcome here. In fact, Sandra, wherever you are, I hope that everything that could possibly go wrong for you does. I also really hope that Veronica reported your messages to the authorities for making fucking threats of harm. I'm sickened. No one deserves to get messages like that. I'm gonna end this video with some questions for Veronica, which I'll throw up onto the screen. I doubt she'll ever see them, but on the off chance that she does, here's some freaking questions for you. Think of them as content prompts, Ronnie. A way for you to get that $10,000 while clarifying a whole bunch of things. With that said, thank you, as always, to everyone who liked, commented, and subscribed, with a big, big thank you to my members, as always. All of you, subscriber, member, whatever, you're awesome, except for Sandra. And I'll catch the rest of you in the next one. Bye!